Cheers to you,
Cheers.
to your new studio space,
Thanks for
To your-
being here, Toddy.
to Sykes' new studio space.
We did it.
Mm-hmm. Love the stingers, man. Love
Yeah.
the stingers.
Here we are.
Killer stingers. I love the stingers.
And hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes, and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out last week's episode. If you're one of the people who listened to that conversation, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks so much for coming back. But for those of you out there who are new to the show, welcome. Please feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer and soda in the fridge. So today on the show, we are obviously in a new space. This is the new studio space for Start the Beat with Sykes. We're still working on some things. Toddy came in last minute. I had a guest that wasn't able to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did Toddy come in last minute, he also sat there very patiently for the past hour as I
tried my best.
fandangled. We had some last minute issues with getting things connected and hooked up.
Mm-hmm.
Had a late start to the day. Me and Stacy were watching her niece and nephew.
You
for the
told
past
me
couple
about
days.
that.
So
You told me about that.
babysitting, hanging out with 10-year-olds, and but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
We have some sparkling water, really starting off the day.
I'm not
in
as
a crazy way.
I'm not as energetic as a 10-year-old, but
Well,
I'll try.
That's super fine. Like I really don't have the energy to deal with that at all.
Great. Well, I
At
don't have
all.
the energy to even do it.
Well,
So perfect.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank everybody for being here. This episode is going to be coming. It's going to be uploaded on June 13th.
Cool.
So I'm just going to promo a few things happening after June 13th. June 14th, tomorrow night, MySpace night at Brillo Box.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a fan of music from the MySpace era or somebody that finds it to be a bit of a guilty pleasure, if you will, and you like to shake your butt, come on out to Brillo Box. I'll be DJing all night. It's a good time. We have quite a hoot there.
Killing it.
June 15th.
Big day.
Big day.
Big mood.
It's the Bad Word Cookout.
The Bad Word Cookout.
Yeah. And that's going to be an all-day event with Start the Beat,
Thrifty Podcast, Toddy.
our friends in Neon Brainiacs, Ghoul on Ghoul.
The whole crew.
Yeah, the whole crew.
In
It
a
is
backyard.
also Colt 45 from Greywalker. It's his birthday. It's also at his house. So it's going to be a birthday party / normal party.
Is he ready for us, you think?
Oh, I think he's ready.
He's ready?
He's ready.
I'm going to bring a blow-up pool, possibly.
Okay, we can find a space for that.
There's a rumor that I thrifted a blow-up pool. There's a rumor out there that I thrifted a knot that doesn't have holes in it. That's the rumor anyway, so I may bring it.
Sick.
Mm-hmm.
And then the day after that, June 16th, Sykes and the New Violence is playing a headlining show at Spirit Lodge with our friends in The Fading Light and Dive. So if you're somebody that's into, alternative rock and indie hip hop, come on out. It's going to be a cool show. We're headlining. We're going to pull all the tricks out for this one. So those of you that have seen Sykes and the New Violence before, sometimes we kind of have a somewhat silly stage show, and then sometimes it's really over the top. Spirit will be over the top.
Okay.
So it'll be very extra.
So no sarcasm, but how do you do it? Like 3 days in a row, you have things to do. I'd love to know, because it's the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Yeah.
Are you tired after that? Like,
You can be.
Yeah.
You can be. I'll need to really pace myself for the cookout.
Okay.
My space night generally gets pretty wild, which is why I wanted to start the cookout a little bit later.
Ah.
But so I'll just need to
planning ahead.
So I'll need to pace myself on the I'm not even as worried about the alcohol intake as I am the food intake.
Okay.
Because that's like, if I have a problem around like grilling season, and we'll talk about this in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be talking about grilling today. I had a preview at some of the listener questions, and they were asking about grilling.
Okay.
I just cannot control myself around like
a grill.
I will eat hot dogs and burgers until like I'm literally going to explode.
Oh, because there's always the thing with hot dogs is there's always more.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
There's always room for one more.
There's always more, because people are always like, well, first serving already done, still dogs on the grill. Always. It's always like that. Always like that.
And so I need to pace myself on the food. And then, yeah, so as long as I do that, the next day should be fine.
Mm-hmm. Big show.
Big show,
Mm-hmm.
big weekend. Really looking forward to it. Do you have anything coming up outside of the cookout?
Outside of the cookout, Thrifty is actually doing a thriftathon this summer. Dates have tentative dates we're looking at probably a couple weeks after that. But what a thriftathon is with Thrifty Podcast.
And we should actually like take a step back real quick. So there
Yeah.
might be some people watching or listening who aren't familiar with Thrifty
Yeah, I was
Podcast.
going to give it an intro.
Yeah, let's do the whole thing.
Okay. So I'm Toddy Tondera. I'm the host of Thrifty Podcast. And what I do each week, I take a guest secondhand shopping with me. We gather a thrift haul, and then we record an episode based on our findings. So every episode, a new thrift haul. You've been on the show before, Sykes. And what we do every summer is what we like to call our WrestleMania. And what Thrifty Podcast WrestleMania is we do because we do live shows here and there, but this is a more so a music show, and also we do like a secondhand sale. And so the Thriftathon, there's a lot of music that goes into Thrifty Podcast itself. A lot of bumpers. We have a theme that Bluffs do, bluffs.bandcamp.com. Steve, they are a great person. And so all the people who, behind the scenes people who do music for Thrifty, we put them on stage and it's a show. And then in between, setup and takedown, Thrifty does some shtick. So I'll be doing shtick, I'll be hosting, and then 3 Pittsburgh bands are actually going to be participating. The dates are still tentative, but it's looking like it's going to be at the Mr. Roboto project.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So that's what's coming up with that, and then obviously the big cookout. So that's going to be killer too.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for our upcoming dates there. I want to apologize to everybody out there. Again, this is our first day in the new space, and I am not used to everything that's going on.
Yeah,
around
you have
me.
a new surroundings because you've been doing the show for quite some time in a different space. So with this space, it's like the dry run. And with Thrifty Podcast, I think it works well because I'm used to just finding different secondhand things and getting used to different environments. So I'm in a different environment every day. This is perfect for me.
All right.
This is perfect for me.
Speaking of secondhand things, you brought some stuff with you today, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You know what? Let's get into it, and then we're gonna hit listener questions in a bit. But I want let's stay on the Thrifty train for a bit before we get too derailed.
Well, Sykes, I know because you did Thrifty a couple of months ago, and you had mentioned that you're going to on vacation for the first time. Is that correct? You're going to Walt Disney World for the first time?
Absolutely correct.
So you're going to Walt Disney World. So you said any Walt Disney stuff that I find thrifting, show me it. And I'll give you some of it as well too. So I have a collection of things that over the past couple of months that I found that are also not only sort of Sykes related, but Walt Disney related as well too. So because as I said, I find all kinds of stuff out there. I go thrifting like 3 times a week. It's what I do for work. It's what I do for money. And I also have a podcast about it. So first and foremost, I'll go with the oldest thing first.
Okay.
This is a vintage 1982 Epcot Center visor. And so for folks not taking a look at the live stream,
you're missing out if you're not watching.
It's a blue visor with a rainbow print on the front of it, and it says Epcot Center. And I thought that was the best thing that I got for Sykes because I could see you rocking that at Walt Disney World. It was focusing for a little bit on the live stream. Yeah, throw it. You could put it here. Oh no, yeah, that's where you want it. That's where you want to ride that. Yeah. So that's a vintage Epcot visor from 1982. I bought that at a Goodwill store that charged by the pound, and as you can tell, it's pretty light, so I didn't pay a lot for it. I didn't pay a lot for that.
What a steal.
But the rest of the because a lot of the shopping I do I said doo-doo, and I was trying to find a way around
I thought
doo-doo.
about it too. Don't worry.
But what I do is with Goodwill outlet shopping, those are places that you purchase things for by the pound. And there's a lot of like casuals that do it. There's also a lot of like hardcore like thrifters who do it for work. And the problem that we usually have is that they don't really look for a certain aesthetic or anything like that. It's like anything that would get money. So anything that's flashy, they just pick up and they're just like, it's got to be worth something. So they just like they'll pull it out of your hands if they have to. And somebody looked at this and we kind of grabbed it at the same time. But since I'm not like a Goomba person, like a lot of people, I let the gentleman have it. And then once I let him have it, he realized that he didn't want it. So that's a lot of things too. Like yeah, it's like everybody is so dominant that they're like, I need this, I need this, I need this. And you're like, you know what? Take it.
Totally.
And then they throw it back and I find it. So this was the Epcot Center, again, from 1982. It has an adjustable back. And you could actually buy your own, listeners, on ebay.com, the website, for about 20 to 25 bucks. But that is my gift, Toddy from Thrifty Podcast, to you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is killer. This is definitely going in the bag.
I want to see some vacay see some vacay pictures.
Yeah, you're gonna get them. Don't worry, that's gonna happen.
Awesome. This goes with that. It is a little newer,
shit.
and this is the next item. The second item for this week's thrift haul on Start the Beat is a vintage Walt Disney first visit button. So it has Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Pluto. And it has them celebrating, and it has some confetti. And underneath it, it says first visit Walt Disney World. So you could wear that because it's going to be this young man's first visit to Walt Disney World. So you could have that. The script on the bottom, that dates back to the late 90s, because on the bottom, the autofocus.
It's like autofocuses on faces.
Mm-hmm. I could see in the monitor. We have a monitor here in the new studio, and you could see it like clipping, like getting your face.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, we
look
fine. Yeah, we look good.
Yeah.
And so the script on the bottom of that button, there's different fonts, and that's how you tell how old it is.
Oh, okay.
And so so the font that you see on the front of the visor there, it doesn't match that. So you know by proxy that that's newer. So this date back to the late 90s, that particular one. So it's not as old as the visor, but it's going to be your first trip, so you wear that proudly.
Oh, I'm wearing the fuck out of that.
And you could get yours on eBay for $5 to $20. They range. So
nice.
If your partner would like one to have matching buttons, that's where you get them. What else did I bring? Okay, so these are interesting. These I got in just like one big stack, like one big haul. And what we're looking at are vintage Disney on Ice programs as they get stuck in the box. So you remember Disney on Ice, I'm sure, growing up, going to the in Pittsburgh here locally, we had the Civic Arena, and that's where it used to be, but that's now a parking lot. But this is a whole stack of the programs from those. And what you'll see is that the person who owned these, they actually collected them over a series of years, because they're not all from the same years. So I'll pass those over to you so you could take a look.
About this,
as I bump the microphone.
I'm all about this Sorcerer Mickey on top here.
Yes, that one. The Sorcerer Mickey is from Fantasia. It says Walt Disney World on Ice, and that one is actually from 1995. That particular one is from 1995.
That is killer.
So Anastasia is the next one. You could have this one if you'd like. This one. Take that one.
I would like that. Thank you.
So Anastasia is the next one up, and Anastasia is actually the newest one out of the stack. That's from 1998. And if you flip through that, there's some crazy pictures in the Anastasia one. There's different like
Oh wow, yeah.
yeah. So they toy with like different lighting,
Oh yeah.
and there's for whatever reason in particular, the Anastasia piece on ice had a lot of like, I don't want to say extras, but secondary characters and everything like that. So that
Oh,
was Anastasia.
you know, man, look at the back of this.
Yeah, look at that. Fireworks.
Hell yeah.
Got fireworks on the back of the program. And these are all in
That's gonna be me at the cookout.
yeah,
That's
that's gonna
literally
be
that's literally
that's
me
the
at the
mood of the
cookout.
cookout.
Yeah.
A bat
That
holding a
should've
firework.
I went through all that trouble making the flyer. I should have just used this picture.
Yeah, just cut that out like I do for thrifty
Yeah,
cover art. I just
we're gonna
cut out
we're
stuff.
gonna make an alternative flyer with that photo.
And that's that. So
Yeah.
the next one in the stack there is Pocahontas. This Pocahontas one goes back to 1996. And on the back, it's not as interesting as the Anastasia, but you do have a collection of people.
Not by any means.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
So that one I originally thought was the oldest one, but it is not. What we're looking at is we're looking at Snow White Disney on Ice, and the book itself is white and gold. And yeah, there's some cool imagery in that one.
This is awesome. Yeah.
And so this one is actually from 1994.
Okay.
That one's from 1994. I know you're a big Aladdin boy.
Oh, I sure am.
You're a big Aladdin boy. This Aladdin one goes back to 1993. And so you have the genie, Jafar on the back. And Jafar, what was
that is a tattoo waiting to happen. Look at that.
Yeah, so Jafar's on the back with his minions. And what was the name of that blue tiger thing that comes out of the sand? This guy?
I don't know.
I can't remember of it. I'm sure a listener will know, but the thing that comes out of the sand that's like a giant blue tiger is on the back of this. And I actually had that when as a kid. I had the giant blue tiger head as a bank. And that's something I've been looking for. That's what they call a grail find.
Oh, okay.
So if I ever find an Aladdin blue tiger bank, it's a grail piece. Next one up, we got Hercules from 1997. It's a little bit thinner than the other ones, but Disney on Ice with that. And then is that the last one you have?
Yeah, the last one here.
Now this is the OG. This is the silver, bright silver on the front, flashy.
Kind of get it flashing in the.
You could get camera. You could get it flashing in the camera, so y'all can see it out there. But what we have is the Disney on Ice, World on Ice, Beauty and the Beast.
This is gnarly.
And this is the oldest one in the stack. It's from 1992. So these Disney on Ice programs that I have, they range from 1992 to 1998. So over what you could assume that the child's growing like lifespan,
sure,
they collected all of these, and for 6 straight years, they went to whatever World on Ice, Disney on Ice came to their town. So these are all of them in that mix. But these range. So some of them you could find in varying degrees on eBay.com, the website, but you could get them for like $8 to like $25. But yeah, the Beauty and the Beast is OG. Aladdin is OG. That's a kickbacks. That's the long ones. But yeah, it goes all the way up until 1998.
These are so cool. I would love to like actually be able to sit down and flip through them at some point.
Oh, it's worth it. Like when you get the time. Yeah.
just flipping through just real quick. Like
a lot of people in
this guy.
A lot of people in sick ass costumes. Maurice.
Yeah.
Maurice Bell's dad. That was the bar scene from that. So there was for Thrifty Podcast, we actually have a lot of listeners that are into Disney, because a lot of like collectors and people of that type like are into the show. And one person in general, they messaged about these Disney World on Ice, and I said I would ship him out some, and I still have yet to do that because the books themselves are such a like a weird. They're huge. They're
you're gonna have
they're
to, like,
huge and flat.
You're gonna have to like cut up some cardboard and make your own mail.
Yeah. So I am. If you are listening, I do plan on sending them some. But yeah, Sykes, I'm glad to give you at least one of them. You got your first visit button. You got your new visor.
I'm gonna take you up on this Sorcerer Mickey cover right here. That's my jam.
You want to talk about a tattoo waiting to happen?
Oh yeah,
right there.
Yeah.
Mickey, and then you got some villains on the back. Got some villains. Ursula was so afraid of Ursula growing up. I was afraid of Ursula until long after I shouldn't have been. Until long after I shouldn't have been, I was having nightmares about Ursula. Scary, scary person.
Yo, I've never had nightmares about a fictional character, but I have a feeling that now that I said that out loud, everything's gonna change.
You doomed it to be.
Everything's gonna change.
You doomed it to be.
Oh man, this Aladdin one is kind of sick though.
Yeah, you could have that one too if you want that one.
No, I think I'm gonna go with Aladdin.
Okay, you want to go okay. Cool.
I'm gonna go with Aladdin. Aladdin is my gift that I'm gladly accepting
Well,
from Toddy.
With Start the Beat, I do always compliment your Aladdin poster that was in your old studio, but now with the new studio space, let's bring Aladdin to the new space.
We'll just do that.
We'll just
and
do
you
that.
know it's actually really funny. I had planned when you had mentioned that you like the Aladdin poster that's in the background. I had thought if I ever have you on the show, I'm just gonna get the JPEG of that poster and put it here.
Yes.
But you were a last minute guest today, so I didn't have time to prepare.
Last minute fill in.
I did have that thought, so
okay.
I do want you to know that I did think about that, and I was like,
it did cross my mind.
That would have been fucking awesome. So,
yeah, man. So I'm glad if there's anybody that I know, at least locally, that would appreciate this type of stuff, it would be you. So it's an honor to give that to you. So I
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. That is fucking
every
awesome.
week, different thrift haul. Every week.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Check out Thrifty Podcast. The show's a blast. I was on. If you are into like me, if you like hearing me talk, I was a guest on the show recently.
You could hear him talk on my show as well.
That might be a good gateway episode if check it out. And I actually have a gift for Toddy.
You have a gift for me.
I do have a gift for you. It's over in my book bag, so I'm gonna get up.
Okay.
And I'm
okay. This could be exciting. I hardly get gifts, especially when I guest on shows. Nobody gives me gifts when I guest on shows.
All right. So I've been to Toddy's house.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of cool stuff. And
you've done Start the Beat live at my apartment before.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You have a VHS collection.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that amongst some of the VHS tapes that you have a copy of Robot Monster in 3D.
Whoa, yeah, huh?
You do have this.
Yes.
But I have a feeling that you don't have the original 3D glasses that this came with.
I don't. I
just so happen to have
the
two extra pairs.
Robot Monster in 3D.
I have 2 extra pairs of the 3D glasses that came with this VHS tape.
Yeah.
Because whenever you bought this tape, when I got it, it actually came with 4 pairs of the glasses.
Really?
Yes.
So that was stock. Probably stock 4 pairs.
Stock, it came with 4 pairs.
That's crazy. So Robot Monster, a very old movie.
Robot Monster in 3D.
And
one of the best bad movies ever made.
And it was from a Rhino home video. And with these Rhino movies, they would put in the VHS packaging of these 3D glasses. And I'm gonna
let's decorate.
Yeah, decorate the set a little bit.
That works.
Yeah, that works. Whoa! So I have the 3D glasses on.
I should put them on too.
Yeah, you should put them on too. So little inside baseball. So I have the 3D glasses on from that VHS tape. I'm actually used to looking through 3D glasses for a weird reason.
Okay.
When I play Madden football on Xbox 360, because that's what I still have, me and my buddy, we challenge each other to wear during hard plays. You have to put on 3D glasses. So if it's like a 50-yard field goal, you could call them out, like, wear the 3D glasses, and you only get a couple per game. So it's not every play, but like bigger plays, you go, wait, don't kick it, put on the glasses. So I'm quite comfortable in that because I learned in the fire. Sykes, I learned in the fire.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Oh God, it's stuck.
Okay, yeah, they do stick. They do stick. Yeah.
Normally I would avoid these, but since we started recording late, I got to respond to Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get into some listener questions?
I would love to get in some listener questions with you. That's the actual noise of his cell phone.
Cool. Sorry about that. Anyways, everybody make some noise for Stacy. Ride or die. All right, so we're going to do listener questions today, and we're going to do it on the screen.
Whoa.
Oh, you got that?
Recording with Toddy soon. I could confirm that.
Let's see here. Again, this is our first time here. Things are a little bit wonky. We'll figure it out. We might need to decrease the brightness on the screen even more to get these questions to show up, huh?
Yeah, maybe decrease the brightness a little bit.
Let's entertain the guests somehow here. How do we?
So just go to the. So we have the questions up on the in-studio monitor, but we have to nail the brightness down so we could pick them up on the video stream for everybody to see. We could see them fine. This is for you.
I don't know if this is going to work. I think even still, it might be too small.
Yeah. You make that bigger.
I don't know. I don't know if I can get much bigger than that.
I don't know. I think you could maybe. I don't know. Maybe we're having a hard time reading it because we see it in the monitor, but maybe the video proper. You can. There's a possibility.
Who knows?
Yep.
All right. Well, oh my gosh. How do I get off of these messages? I can't zoom.
Popular guy.
This is man. I was hoping I wouldn't have to edit the episode, but now we're just going nuts now. This can definitely be edited. All right. So we're taking
listener questions.
Taking listener questions for Start the Beat. Things keep popping up. It's going nuts. All right. So
first question
here from Lou from Riparian, who was just on the show. Shout outs to them. Okay. I guess I did mention that it is June at this point, but as we are recording it is Memorial Day weekend. So Lou had pointed that out.
Little inside baseball.
It's Memorial Day weekend. So we get to talk about food again. What are you bringing to the barbecue?
It's Memorial Day weekends.
What are you bringing to the barbecue,
What
Toddy?
am I bringing to the barbecue? Well, if we're just talking food base, as I mentioned, there's a harsh rumor that I'll be bringing a blow-up pool. But on the record, you know what I could fuck up is some barbecue chicken.
Okay.
I could fuck up some barbecue chicken on that. Corn. I like corn on the cob, off the cob. Cook it on the cob.
Oh, there you go.
Cut it off the cob. But chicken's like my favorite food. So just cut up some pieces of chicken, throw some barbecue sauce on that. Big barbecue sauce fan, by the way. Huge.
Yeah, I like barbecue sauce. I like hot sauce. I like condiments. I'm like a condiment connoisseur, a condiment captain, a condiment captor.
Ooh, okay.
Because if you have condiments around me, I will capture them.
And you will capture them and make them your condiments.
Yeah, like people play Pokemon Go. I play like Condiment Go.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just snatching whatever condiments I can from restaurant tables and people's fridges.
You have Condiment Go on your cell phone, and you walk around, and you're just like, yep, mustard's around the corner. And so you have to go get that. And that's what you mentioned even on the flyer for the show that's coming up. Ketchup and mustard fans both welcome.
Yeah, I just don't want anybody to feel
both
excluded.
welcome. Yeah, for sure.
Super crucial. All right, so what I'm bringing to the barbecue, Lou, as Toddy had mentioned and we talked about already at length for a bit here, I am getting ready to go to Disney World.
Disney World. The big D-dub.
And in preparation for going to Disney World, I've subscribed to the Disney Food blog.
Oh, okay.
And I get these email updates about new fun food things going on at Disney. The main reason I did it was because since me and Stacy are pretty much vegetarian, I'm trying to get a good idea of like where we can eat and prepare for that. So it's not
places probably,
you don't want to be there like and not prepared for where you're going to go. So just preparing in advance, looking into things. I got this email yesterday. I guess one of the restaurants in Disney World is doing this new elote hot dog, if that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, it's up on the screen here.
Yeah, and I pulled it up. So this is a picture of it, and it's a hot dog, Mexican street corn with chipotle mayo, Cojita cheese. I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of this stuff properly. And that further topped with chili powder for
Cojita
some
cheese.
spiced and garnished with a lime wedge. So let me say that again.
Mm-hmm.
Hot dog. Topped with Mexican street corn, chipotle mayo, Cojita cheese, chili powder, spice, and garnished with a lime wedge.
Killer.
So I'm gonna be doing that with a veggie dog. I already got the veggie dogs. I went to the store yesterday. I bought the shit to make my own chipotle mayo. Made it last night. So that's in the fridge, cooling down, gonna be ready to go. I got the cheese, I got the chili powder, we got some limes ready to go. And
all you need is the dish. All you need is the plate.
All I need is that Disneyland plate. Maybe you can help me get one on eBay.
I'll try to
the website.
eBay.com, the website. We'll get you one of those Disneyland plates for yourself because you're going to be ready. I will say this. A secret revealed. I don't fuck with mayo. Secret revealed.
That's okay.
I don't fuck with it.
That's okay. I'm not one of those people that whenever somebody says they don't like something, you feel like
you gotta say
I'm
your
attacked.
Point. Yeah,
I'm attacked. Like, what do you mean? You just haven't had the right mayo. You just haven't had it on the right thing.
I respect that.
Not even on mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
that would be you could attack me for that. You could attack me for that if I said that.
Yeah, but so totally cool with you have your own decisions. And I have mine. That's why I say ketchup and mustard fans both welcome.
Both welcome.
Mayo fans welcome. If you don't like it, whatever, more mayo for me. I'll take them. So that's what I'm doing, Lou. Feel free to come by. Even though, you're going to hear this late. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Text me. All right. We got Jeff Betton in the house. If Michael Scott had a gun with 2 bullets and was in a room with Hitler, Bin Laden, and Toby, he would shoot Toby twice. Who is your Toby?
Who is my Toby? Oh gosh, who gets on my nerves and just won't stop getting on my nerves? I'm trying to think because I try to be nice to most people.
I agree with that.
I try to be nice to most people. But if we want to harken back to Thrifty Podcast, there is one person in particular. I won't mention names, but they are a regular around here when they go thrifting. And they have some really schemy ideas as to how to get like really cool stuff. So these Goodwill outlets, this person helps the workers carry stuff in, and they're just like, well, yeah, I'm helping you carry stuff in because I want to help you. And, they're high school kids. So they're just like, yeah, for sure. Do as much work. But really what they're doing is
they're scouting.
They're scouting. You got it. And so they bring the stuff in, and then they know what's coming out, because once you bring the stuff in, it's going to come out in the Goodwill outlet bins. And I realized this scheme pretty earlier on. And now when stuff comes out and I get it before this person does, this person is super angry because they're like, oh, you got that and you got this and you got this. I'm like, yeah, and I didn't cheat. So that's my Toby. That is definitely my Toby if I have a Toby.
All right.
Also, people who scream indoors, too. Anybody who just screams. I don't like screaming indoors.
I don't really have an answer for that, but I think your answer was good enough just to... We'll leave it at that.
But hardcore music, love it. Grey Walker, love them. But indoors, can't stand screams.
But
like
what about
sudden screams? Sudden screams,
okay.
I think. Like if I'm sitting there, I'm like always in my head about stuff. And so if somebody screams, I'm like, whoa, you just Toby over here. That's what I say. But
all right, we'll hit up one more here because I got another episode that I'm recording later today, so I want to save some of these questions, and also we have other things to talk about. Right?
Sure.
So John from Fuck Yeah Dinosaurs, who killed it at Millville Music Fest. I think I already told you that before, but if I didn't, your band is fucking awesome and you played a killer set at Millville. Anyways, if you've talked about it before, let me know which episode to check out. If not, what are your thoughts on the whole touring band sandwich idea at punk shows? The local A touring bands, local B approach compared to local A, local B touring bands. All right.
Interesting.
We have never talked about this before. I can rant, I guess, a bit about this. So I think it really depends on the way the show is set up. So, for example, with Grey Walker, we have friends who play in a band called Heartsick. And they hit us up. They're like, hey, we're coming through on a show. Can you put us on something? They asked us to just put us, not can you book a show for us? Can you put us on something? So we booked ourselves a headlining show and we had them as support in the middle, because nobody's going to really come if it's like, oh, Heartsick is playing versus like Grey Walker being the
Mhm.
headlining band. We were able to get more people out to the show, and it kind of just made sense for us to headline
Mhm.
because they didn't want to play a headlining show. They just wanted to come out.
Right. Right.
So then that versus another band that we played with recently who they booked the show themselves. They booked the
Mm.
venue themselves.
Mhm.
They're coming in through town. They got the local bands. And then day of show, they're like, hey, do you guys care if you headline?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Basically just trying to use our people that are at the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you booked the venue. You set up all this stuff.
That's your.
And the thing, it's your show. And the thing that irks me about that is because if you wanted us to headline, you could have easily told us this, a month or two ago, whenever we confirmed the show, then we could have been in control of the event page. We could have been in control of the flyers, all the promotion. We could have.
all your marketing would be your
Yeah.
marketing, so you would be
If
able
we're
to.
headlining a show, we want it to be our show and we want it to be marketed as our show.
Yeah, you can't pawn it off.
Yeah.
Like you can't. Yeah.
Yeah,
can't
so
do
that kind of stuff irks me, but I think that it's just a matter of being transparent. If they would have told us prior, like, hey, would you guys want to headline the show?
Mhm.
We would have talked about it and maybe said yeah, and then but if we are doing it, it's going to be our show. You know what I mean?
I totally get it.
You don't get to have your name in lights and all this stuff
Mhm.
and then get to
And-
play early.
But then if you're, yeah, exactly. Then if you're invited on to be the headliner last minute, then it's like, oh, I didn't do any of thing to really promote this as like
Yeah.
a me event, so this is gonna
And I
look
think
bad.
It just looks like really shitty. Like you don't have confidence in yourself as a band
Mhm.
when you're just like, oh, we need to make sure people are here when we play. I mean, like,
We're all making sure that.
yeah,
We're all trying to do it.
it's like, we got 25 people in this room and maybe some of them are going to leave
Mhm.
after we play,
Mhm.
but that's not our responsibility for people to be there for your show that you booked.
Mhm.
If you would have told us we were headlining, then we would have made it our responsibility to get people in the door. But I
Mhm.
feel like it's always, not saying whenever we take a show that we're not headlining that we don't promote it as well. But I mean, it's a totally different beast. If we tell us
It's
that
a different weight.
it's a different weight, and
It's like
just,
a different weight.
and
of
people that are coming out
expectations.
to people that are
Yeah.
coming out to the show expect different things too. Like if they know that we're opening up a show,
Mhm.
on a Sunday night, maybe the only reason they're coming out to see us is because they know that we're playing early.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of
Quite
rude to them to
possibly
be like,
that,
oh
yeah.
yeah, by the way, like I know we're on the bottom of the flyer, but we're not playing until 1 a.m. Like that's
Mm.
kind of a fuck you to our fans.
Yeah, those late shows are tough a lot of the times. A lot of the times are tough.
Yeah.
Either way, if it's promoted or if it's not promoted, it's tough, those late night gigs.
Totally.
Yeah.
So hopefully that answers your question there, John, to some extent. And that is actually something that we have never talked about on the show. So good call.
Mhm.
And you know what? I'm gonna do one more question
Cool.
because I mentioned that oral sex was in it. And I don't
Mhm.
know if my next guests are gonna be down with talking about oral sex. So
you didn't send that in the liner notes.
Yeah. This is a good question. So I figure let's do it. All right. So Taylor Southern, which would you rather give up? Cheese or oral sex? Cheese.
Cheese. That's easy, honestly. I'm not a big on cheese as it is.
I mean, like I'm pretty much eat vegan like 50 to 75% of the week anyways.
Mhm.
So cheese would be really easy for me. I mean, pizza would be kind of a bummer.
But
But
I eat cheese. It's not that I don't. I
But-
don't have any dietary restrictions, but I don't love it.
I will say this. I know, I am not an advocate for getting, partaking in oral sex that you shouldn't, like,
Absolutely.
secret oral sex, but it's a thing that people do. If I were to give up cheese, who says that I still couldn't partake in a secret slice that nobody knows about?
Oh, well, that would be lying to the fans.
I'm only human.
That's lying to the fans. I could even, like, if we're being real, I could go hand stuff over oral stuff. I could go hand stuff over oral stuff sometimes. Like I don't know. Let's do something else. Do something different. Let's just do something different. It doesn't have to be the standard like A, B, C. Like let's
Uh-huh.
switch it up. Let's start here, go here.
Throw a little H in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like a little H here and there. Friendly H. Between two consenting adults that
Uh-huh.
are like, let's go with the H. Go with the H.
Nothing wrong with a
Go with the
friendly H.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Hell yeah. And that's listener questions.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So
It was an honor to take that, by the way, because you're like, there's another show coming up. We'll do it now. That's
yeah,
why.
you know what?
I tried to hit a home run.
I glanced at it and I was like, man, I just have a feeling that maybe it might be in our best interest to do that. And you know what I totally forgot to do?
Mm-hmm.
That for the listener questions.
Oh, that's okay. You hit
Listener
it 3
question.
times.
I have this pad here with the effects, and I totally forgot.
There you go. You got them all in now.
We're new to this, but hey, I'll tell you what. You gotta eat this. So, chatting about food. We've been talking about food a lot already, but what I want to do is I want to give a quick shout outs to the Mr. Bulgogi food truck. It is a highly underrated food truck in the Pittsburgh area. Korean.
I've never had it, to be honest with you.
It is fantastic. Run by very nice people. Affordable pricing. And you can usually catch them. I always catch them down at Allegheny City Brewing, which is right down the street from where we are now.
Okay.
They seem to be there like maybe the 3rd Friday of every month, it seems to be, because it seems to be lining up with whenever I'm DJing at the Moose. So quick shout outs to Mr. Bulgogi and the Korean food truck.
That sounds delicious, especially like if you're doing a thing, have a couple drinks, and you're like, yeah, I could get that one.
It was killer. Do you have any food recommendations that you could throw out there?
Ooh, do I have food recommendations? If we're speaking locally, I could tell you something that I do probably 2-3 times a week.
All right,
it's pretty cheap.
Let's get into it.
The local grocer to us, Coons. I live in the South Hills district of Pittsburgh, and nice.
South Hills shout out.
South Hills shout out, baby. And Coons hot plate, because much like other grocers, there's like a hot plate and a cold plate. Like there's prepared food. Well, they have food all day long, obviously. After hours, whatever's left in the like the hot plate tray, they'll box up or put in plastic containers and sell it for like half price. So if you go there at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you could get like, they throw chicken in bags and stuff like that.
Wow.
So you could get like 3 chicken breasts for like $5, sometimes cheaper. It's a lot of fun, because the reason why I like it, because I don't know what I'm eating before I get there. I don't have a plan. Because
it's like a dinner roulette.
Yes, got it. And it's like whatever is there, that's what I'll take and that's what I'll eat. So it could be macaroni. It could be there's some hits. There's some hits. They have macaroni. They have chicken primavera, rigatoni, macaroni. So whatever didn't sell during the day, they package up and just put it under a heat lamp, and then they throw it out the next morning. Okay. So overnight, it's like discounted price. So 3 nights a week, I go there and I just clean up. Coons, that's my recommendation.
All right. Awesome. And let's move on. You got to see this. I don't know if that was the right sound. That's the one. You got to see this.
Cool.
I got to make notes on the pads. I brought tape and a marker to do it.
Just draw on the, you got to see this, draw an eye on it.
You got it. This. So me and Stacy saw Bjork live this week up in New York City.
That's got to be cool.
It was really intense, and I'm still kind of taking it in. It was like all this crazy 3D projection mapping stuff, and you just really felt like you were in the environment. And they had like a really harsh no cell phone use rule at the show, which I thought was really cool. So my you gotta see this for this week isn't going to be Bjork live, because all the shows are sold out. But what you got to do is go to some sort of an event and keep your fucking phone in your pocket and actually enjoy it for the moment.
Eat it up.
Be in the moment with something, whether it's a concert or I don't know, any sort of an event that you would typically spend half the time on your phone. Don't do it.
Yeah,
actually see what you're seeing.
that's called being mindful, and I, like, go to, like, therapy and stuff like that. That's a DBT skill, to be in the moment, to practice being in the moment, to
Oh
be
yeah.
mindful.
Okay.
So it's one of those things, I guess, in a sense, is like if you're writing, just write. If you're listening to music, just listen to music. If you're taking a walk, just take a walk. So if you're at a concert, just be at the concert. Be mindful. Like it.
Hell yeah.
And Björk's probably killer too.
Yeah,
I've never
it
seen
was
her.
really intense, very very emotional, just like
Mhm.
really just powerful, and just I don't know, there's just so much going on, like just from the fan perspective of, seeing her perform, and then also from a technical perspective, cuz like every little thing with the show, with the projection and the lighting and the placements, the choreography of all the people that were on stage, everything was super meticulous. And just thinking about how much time went into planning out all
Everything.
of those
And that's
movements.
one date. That's one date too. Like that's like there's so many probably others. So it's every night it's like a cool piece of this.
Yeah. Um yeah, just like trying to focus on this show and just enjoy it as a spectator, but also like totally like, whoa, like how did they cue those lights? How are they doing this? Like looking up and like seeing like all the different stuff that like the projectors and things and where they have them set up, and just like nerding out on so many different levels at once was
Mhm.
very exhausting, but quite a good time.
Yeah, I never had the opportunity to see her, but I got to think it's an amazing
Is
performance.
there anything that you want to suggest people see?
Well, I would, and I
I know you
believe
went to WrestleMania recently.
you knew I was going to say
Uh
that,
huh.
huh? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you can't go now, but
Next year.
yeah, I went to WWE's WrestleMania, and not only did I do WWE's WrestleMania, I did WrestleMania week. So I think it was six shows in 4 days. I went to six wrestling events in 4 days. And because for those that aren't familiar with WrestleMania, it's the biggest wrestling show, American wrestling show every year. It's the biggest American wrestling show every year. So whatever city WrestleMania is in, smaller companies, they book a venue wherever WrestleMania is too, because there's so many people.
It's kind of like South by Southwest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all these wrestling promotions book a venue for WrestleMania week because they know everybody is in town for wrestling. So now it's not just one day; it's like a whole week experience, and I recommend that too. And also,
Would
yeah,
you even recommend it to people that aren't familiar with the sport?
I would recommend. I wouldn't. Well, definitely WrestleMania, because WrestleMania I think is yeah, it's just like a spectacular event. There's pyro. There's flashy lights. They have it's like a
Sweaty muscles.
sweaty muscles. A big atmosphere that I think that it could be appreciated for people not wrestling fans.
Now, question,
Yeah.
just a callback. How do you feel about screaming indoors at a wrestling event? Or is that fair game?
Well, that's a great point. I'm fine with it, and I do that. I think I don't want to put an asterisk next to screaming indoors, but I will. It's unexpected. It's like screaming when you have no reason to scream.
Sure.
So, like, people who just like they're just screaming all day, and you're just like, why are you talking that loud? Chill out. No,
Uh-huh.
no. Yeah, but oh no, I scream anything, anything at well, not anything, but I scream some cool stuff at wrestling shows.
I would love to see, like, so we've talked about this before. I grew up in the 90s,
Mhm.
so obviously very aware of wrestling. Like, I grew
Oh
up
yeah.
around, the WWF days,
Mhm.
WCW, ECW,
Oh yeah.
all that stuff. I watched it when I was younger. I've never been to a wrestling event.
You've never been to even like a cast off
No.
event, like a small
I've
event?
been to like independent wrestling events.
That's
So, but
fair.
like not like a big one, not a big arena one.
Mhm.
And I would love to go. And I would definitely love to go with somebody that's like super into it, that I know is going to be screaming their head off and stuff.
Anytime.
So you let me know.
My schedule's flexible for that type of stuff.
Let me know whenever there's something coming through town. Whether it's a
Yeah.
Raw or a SmackDown or whatever.
There is a brand new wrestling promotion. This isn't for Pittsburgh related, but there's a brand new wrestling promotion that just debuted last night. It's called AEW.
Okay.
And it could be the thing that eventually takes out the WWE if it has enough gas.
Okay.
It's like the first thing that scared Vince McMahon into being like, we should make better wrestling.
Huh.
And there's people in AEW that you probably remember. Chris Jericho, Cody
Yeah.
Rhodes is in it.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar, but he's a newer guy, but he's also a bigger guy. If you ever heard of Dean Ambrose, Kenny Omega.
I've heard those names.
Yeah. And so those are the Young Bucks. Like those are the clan. I shouldn't say clan. Those are the people. Those are the people who put that together. And AEW debuted their show last night and it kicked ass. So much blood.
Awesome.
Oh, Goldust. You know Goldust.
Yeah.
Well, he wrestled as Dustin Rhodes.
Oh,
so
awesome.
Dustin Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes. And Dustin just bladed, which just means he cuts himself with a razor.
Yeah.
And it was everywhere.
Where did they air it on?
Fight TV. There was also, you could like buy in on YouTube.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different things.
You have to.
There's links out there. I'm telling you, it was killer.
I'll have to check that out. That is fucking.
And it was also the
sweet.
first promotion to hire transgender workers, which is incredible. It's an incredible step for professional wrestling. It's sad that it's 2019 and that's, that's still an issue, but they had a transgender worker, and that's incredible for everybody. And LGBTQ community, I'm queer myself. There was some representation for everybody, so it's big.
Yeah, shout outs. All right, cool. I love it. So let's struggle. Let's struggle. Let's tag. Let's go. Again, new space. I'm overwhelmed.
New space, new place.
Things are feeling good. I'm feeling good. You feeling all right?
I'm feeling great. Feeling great, man.
Cool.
Whatever you need me to do, I feel great.
Let's talk about some music.
Okay.
You got to hear this. The new Rammstein album.
Ooh.
Are you a Rammstein fan?
Ooh, I haven't heard the new.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. I haven't heard the new Rammstein record, but I grew up in a friend group that loved Rammstein and would play Rammstein all the time. So my Rammstein knowledge would be secondhand.
Okay.
Just like a thrift store.
Yeah. So I would say my immediate thought is, somebody that is into wrestling and a band who makes a lot of music that sounds like pretty much any song they write could be entrance music.
Themes.
Yeah. I feel that you might dig Rammstein on this purely uncensored masculine level. So that's kind of like what it is.
Well, I know the hits.
Yeah.
I know the hits. I don't know the deep cuts.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. But they put out a new album. It's their first album in, I think, over 10 years. Maybe close to 10 years. I think they put out an album in 2009 or 10. So it's around a decade. But yeah, it's a great record. It's definitely their most pop forward record. It's not as heavy as some of their other stuff has been, but I still think it's really, really cool record. Lots of good jams.
That's pretty cool to hear that. Now, obviously, I'm not as familiar with the band as you are, but I know a lot of people, especially people around our age, they seem to tend to, you always hear it all the time, like just the old stuff. And people our age, they'll go to concerts and they'll stay in the back and they'll just be like, just play the ones I know, play the ones.
Such a bummer, yeah.
Just evolve with the music. Some of my favorite bands, their recent records, and they have a whole catalog. They have a whole discography of music. Some of their recent records, in my opinion, are like my favorite records they've done. And it's still cool for me to get into it. Like, get into the music, grow with the band, grow up with the band. So when people are just like, oh, just play, I'm here to get a drink and hang out in the back row, it's just like, go home.
That's what I was going to say.
Go home.
Totally. I think you're really missing an opportunity to connect with a band if you don't understand that the people in the band are also human beings and they're just going to grow and evolve and change. And as a result of that, you would want their music to change.
Right.
I think that
because they already done that. Like if there's a record that you particularly like, that's A-okay. If it's older, it's A-okay. But they've already done that record. They've done that. They don't need another one of that. Right. So just do another.
You don't need a better version of a perfect album.
Right. Exactly. So I think that's, listening to bands mature as you get older and sticking with the ones. Like I still have the same favorite bands as when I was younger, but I've watched their music travel different ways. And sure, there's bands that have fallen off that I don't listen to anymore. But I'm saying overall, it's good that Rammstein, a band like Rammstein, they've been around forever, and you're still hitting them up. I bet they appreciate you. I
I
bet they
hope so.
appreciate fans like
I
you.
hope so. I hope
Mhm.
so. I mean, I am American, so I doubt they have very much appreciation for me. But
Sure.
for what it's worth, I hope. Hey,
Individually,
yeah,
you're fine.
I hope so. Is there anything you've been listening to?
Well, that's actually yeah, to kind of get into it. There's a band I grew up with. They're called Me Without You,
Mhm.
and they originally were like a post-hardcore band. They do a lot of philosophical rock. And
That's a way to put it. Yeah.
yeah, and their new record, which is just untitled, I got it on cassette, and I got a cassette player from 1991 from the thrift store.
Oh, shout
And
outs.
Me Without You's, yeah, I love it. Me Without You's new record is just untitled, and it's some of their best, in my opinion. It's some of their best work they've done. They do a lot of, they have a lot of different imagery that pops up when a lot of songs come to mind. A lot of times in my life, I takes me back to then. But as I grow up, I create new moments with new songs. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on that I don't have to put on this old song to remember myself from 10 years ago. I could just put a new song on and remember where I am at this place in time, being mindful. But a lot of their lyrics, like the animals talk, there's a lot of like biblical references. It's just crazy cool music. Me Without You, untitled. It's great.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Give it a whirl. Give it a whirl.
Mm-hmm.
And we got one last little thing for today.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do this. Stop spoiling shit on the internet. It's very annoying. I have not. I mean, okay, granted, if you care enough about something like Game of Thrones, maybe you should keep up with it.
You could text your boys about it.
Yeah.
Don't put it on the internet.
So, for those that don't know, I had never watched an episode of Game of Thrones ever until about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the first 7 seasons in about 2 weeks.
Jeez.
I really crammed it in.
Yeah, I did that with USA Suits, but that's not great television. This is good television.
I got up to the start of, I watched the first episode of season 8, but I haven't continued because Stacy hasn't watched any of it yet either, and we're going to watch it together.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point.
Pump the brakes.
She had already seen everything. But thanks to the internet, I already know everything that happens. Okay, granted, I get, my bad. I'm not going to be necessarily mad at people for talking. You could say whatever you want on the internet, but it just blows my mind that people have nothing else better to do than to contribute spoilers on the internet.
Yeah.
It just feels like, it's one thing if like somebody's like doing it to be a dick. Like if they're doing it to be a dick and they're self-aware that they're a dick, I don't really have a problem with somebody being a dick. It's like, okay, well, you're a dick.
They know that.
They
know the
But
shtick.
I just feel like there are so many people that are just like oblivious. They don't even think about it. They don't like realize that like there are other people, and like there's a certain lack of empathy when it comes to spoilers, which sounds really silly. I don't want to sound like a man baby or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but just try to be more thoughtful about things before you throw them out there, because like I literally know everything that happens. And it's just like, I mean, I don't care. It's a TV show. I don't put too much emotional investment into entertainment.
Makes you not want to watch it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just kind of like,
bit.
I don't have that like urge to really like, ugh. But I am looking forward to still watching it because, a lot of people seem to be bummed out by it. And I don't know. I have a feeling that since I tend to be an unintentional contrarian, I'm going to end up loving it.
Yeah.
Like I know what happens, but I don't know exactly how it plays out. So I'm curious to see.
I've never seen an episode of the show. I do know the DVD menu music from like old Game of Thrones menu music. I have a specific memory about that. I was staying over somebody's house.
I have specific memories of DVD music as well, and I have a feeling it's a very similar situation.
Yeah, so I was staying over somebody's house. This was years ago. I was staying over somebody's house, and their roommate was watching Game of Thrones, and they fell asleep watching Game of Thrones. So when the disc ended, loud as hell, it was just the DVD music. And the place I was staying, it was like I couldn't sleep as it was. And then this DVD
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was just jamming, like we're talking for a while. So like I could do the whole ditty. I don't know if it's the same theme song.
I
Maybe it
think it
is.
is. I don't think they really changed it. I think it's the same.
I know that off by heart. I could hear it in my head. That was terrible. Couldn't sleep. It was so loud. Screaming inside only with music. Hate it.
All right. So gonna kind of move the conversation here. I mean, obviously, all that's I for some reason I imagine that getting through all of that would be a lot quicker than it
Mhm.
was. But
Mhm.
we already have pretty much like a full episode here,
We
which
do.
is okay. I'm just gonna end this on one sort of like kind of nerdy, thoughtful question about
Cool.
what you do with thrifting and podcasting and things like that. Just want to say I have had a really great time chatting with you. So
Absolutely.
thank you for being
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely.
First guest in the new space,
Oh man.
working it out with me.
Yeah. I didn't want to shake with the left hand because
Yeah.
that's so I just gave you a
Yeah,
grab.
we could do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. See, there we go.
Yeah,
There we go.
cool. All right. So the question that I want
Just
to
like
ask
politics.
you,
Yeah.
this is something I talk about a lot with musicians on the show, and that is, like the balance of business and party, work and pleasure, and things like that. And this is actually something that I can talk to you about a bit because obviously, I imagine you started thrifting as like a passion and a curiosity, and
Yeah.
now it's kind of like it's still there, but also now you are thrifting and finding things and doing like resale and things like that as well. So there's that kind of like that balance as well. So like how do you as a person still find like the joy in doing what you're doing? Do you find it to be more stressful now that you have all of these things revolved around it, or do you find it more enjoyable that you have all this stuff?
See, that's a very great question. Reason being is it like with my moods, it sort of depends. Overall, I feel absolutely fine about it, I bet. But I grew up with not a lot of money, and I used to go thrifting with my grandfather. So it was something that was like sort of like in my blood, and growing up I kind of knew what to do. So when I decided to take it on, it's like a thing I do. There was a lot of like trial and error. There's a lot of restarts because I did it and then I got another job and then I went back to it. And it's still enjoyable for me because I'm not a person that can do the same thing over and over again. And a lot of people have that. A lot of people there's less opportunities for, but people who do desk work. That's I'm not ripping on that whatsoever. That's a good living. People enjoy doing that. I did that for a while, and I was working by myself and I loved it. But what I mean by that is it's a lot of the time it's monotonous. It's the same thing every day. I can't sit still. I can't be doing stuff. So the reason why I find still pleasure in it, though it's my work now, is because it is different every day. And so there's highs and lows when I find cool stuff. I'll be on that high for a few days. If I don't find cool stuff, I'm immediately second guessing everything I've ever done to this point.
Sure.
Like if I go, because when you go, like I start early in the morning, and sometimes I'm out for like 3 or 4 hours because I have to collect stuff I have to collect stuff, and sometimes I'll go out and I'll find nothing, and like you mentioned, it's just like I hate it, I because I'm like it takes the fun out of it because it's just like I remember when I used to do this just for fun, but it kind of rebounds because if there's days that I find good stuff that's a lot of it I keep because you've done your show live at my apartment. You've seen what it looks like. There's a lot of vintage stuff. It's the whole thing. But overall, I have a good feeling about it because I know that it's something I do want to do. And just like anything else, you get hot and cold on it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much that. hmm So it's a little back and forth. Some days I hate it, but ultimately it's fine. I love it, and it does add some stress knowing it pays the bills, but it does pay the bills. That's all.
Awesome.
hmm
So, with all that being said, go check out Thrifty Podcast. Where can people find your goddamn show at?
Well, you could find it at thriftypodcast.com, and we release episodes every Sunday. I have a main co-host, Josh Last Call Larkin, and nice stinger for last call. But yeah, he's on about 70%, 75% of the episodes, and we built this show from scratch. But occasionally I'll have some guests on, some people in the community, and we go out thrifting together. So it's a community event.
That is what is up. So thank you again for coming on, Toddy.
Absolutely.
Thrifty Podcast. And that is all, folks. Thanks so much for listening.
Walt Disney, here you come.
Hope you enjoyed the conversation. One for Walt Disney World. I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the Beat 2019. Woo! Woo! Thanks for listening.
Hot New Space.
Take it out.